everybody. Welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox. But we're not in Abbotsford today. We're in Vancouver, and we're going to be playing a game of Global 40 with a few little adjustments here. And I'm going to introduce you to the host, or he's going to introduce himself.
Hey everyone, Jeremy. Nice to finally meet everybody in the Access Allies community. It's nice to host a face-to-face game with the whole pandemic going on and get a game going. So I've been playing solo for a while, so it's nice to actually see some live people to play. So welcome to my home, and hopefully this content is enjoyable for you guys to watch.
Awesome, thank you. And
I'm Kyle, and my A handles Canuck 12. Looking forward to throwing some dice and fighting a war with some folks.
cool. And who are you playing today, Kyle?
Oh, who am I playing? I'll be taking the Allies until I'm either crushed or my associate Gargantua shows up and bails me out.
I should also add that I'm playing Japan today as Axis, and Kurt, you're playing Germany, and we're going to collaborate a little bit on Italy. We've a few house rules. We're having a Canada house rule today where Canada is its own standalone nation, and they have 8 IPCs to start the game. The idea behind this was that Canada, I didn't feel, was fairly represented in the game. So we've got some new pieces to add in. So Canada's got 8 IPCs, and they're painted green. And these are some historical board gaming, some Corvettes. To offset that, Germany has pocket subs. So both these units cost 5 IPCs each, and both, if they're paired together, the subs attack at 2 when they're paired together, and the Corvettes defend at 2 when paired together. Otherwise, they both attack and defend at 1. So that's kind of sort of a little variant. And to offset the income that Canada gets, the 8 IPCs, Germany's going to take 5 IPCs, but they have to commit to spending that on Navy or a submarine. And Italy gets 3 IPCs, and there's a national objective added. If there's one submarine in the Atlantic from C-Zone 127 all the way down to, I guess, the bottom of the United States, that Germany gets an extra 2 IPCs bonus. And if there's no submarines in the Atlantic, Canada gets the flip, the 2 IPCs. And because there's 8 IPCs for Canada, we've given British Columbia 2 instead of 1, so they can actually build a complex in Western Canada if they desire. Research and technology, we're using TK's research development rules, which you can buy on Historical Board Gaming, but it's sort of a progressive arms and development chart, and so we'll try it out. The interesting thing about this is there's a copy card, so if there's a technology that somebody else gets, after a full round of play, you can copy that technology, which with spies and stuff in that time period, it's quite interesting. So,
Absolutely. All right, folks, so that is the setup. We are here, and Kyle, who is stronger at the game than myself and Jeremy,
Find out about
has graciously taken the Allies with no bid. So we do have a slight that Axis advantage, but we'll see if that's enough to tip the scales.
we'll see.
to our benefit. I got to play with Kyle about a year and a half ago in Deep Cove at the West Coast Invitational, where the Americans came up, and I don't know how you did personally, but I went 0 for 3. I had one close game, one very close game, but the other 2 were just laughs.
We were 2 and 1.
You won 2, so you won both our games.
Both. Well, we lost to Carl in the global version, and then we won the 42 version and the anniversary version.
Oh, very good. And then, were you with Gargantua?
No. Yes,
Yeah.
I was. He didn't participate in every game. He played in the global one that we lost, and then I was with another friend of mine who's not online in the other 2 versions.
Oh, okay. All right, folks. Well, we will get down to it, and we'll let you know how round 1 goes in just a moment. All right, folks, here we are. You can see America is out in the Pacific on turn 1. Why is that? Because of that. The Japanese did the infamous J1 turn. and have swept into the Allied zones with wild abandon. And so that allows everybody to do their shtick. And I think we're going to let Kyle give a little bit of insight as to what happened here on the first round, particularly in the English Channel. What happened there, Kyle?
We got wiped. Scrambled on a 50-50 and dice just didn't go, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Got wiped in Ethiopia too, so that the Brits they're gonna play some come from behind.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, and they're very capable of doing that. We can even see here in the Pacific, they're looking very, very strong. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Jeremy, any thoughts on the first round for yourself, from your perspective?
Just, Japan tried to spread out to do a J1 to put pressure on the U.S. to decide to go Pacific or so they got a decision to make next round to go for the money islands, but also trying to consolidate their fleet, because it looks like U.S. has got a couple carrier builds going on off the Pacific, and also it looks like UK Pacific has consolidated its forces to counterattack in Yunnan. So if there's going to be a Calcutta crush coming, there's going to have to deal with that stack there. So it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. And the Italians didn't really do much here. Just blitzed through Alexandria just for fun. But had to take Malta because the British had actually flown a bomber down there, and there was an anti-aircraft, and I just wanted to take care of those pesky units. And the British came over here along with the French, the Americans, and the Canadians. So a real multinational force. The Canadians built a transport. The German attack on the Canadians failed, otherwise these guys wouldn't be here. And it's highly unlikely the Canadians would have spent any money this round. But they were successful, so they did have some success. They defeated 2 U-boats and didn't take a hit, so go Canada. Woo. I can't help but cheer a little bit.
Yeah, go Canada. Yeah. We're all cheering for Canada.
The French counterattacked in Holland, Belgium here, because I kind of foolishly just put planes there, but there was an anti-aircraft gun, thanks to Jeremy's suggestion. So they got 1 hit coming in, but we got them on the first round. No war with the Soviets yet. The ping pong moves through there yielded some good stuff for Italy. And that's pretty much it. Little convoy action going on for the Brits. Yeah.
Rock and roll. Round 2.
Right. Round 2 coming up, folks. Here we go. Okay, round 2 is done, and it was exciting and both tragic for everybody. So, I don't know, Jeremy, you want to give us a couple of your thoughts? You were heavy in the Pacific, so...
Japan did full sweep down, was going to take all the money islands, but decided to grab Malaya instead to take away the NO for Anzac. But the Chinese and the UK Pacific are building up quite a armada of guys. So, but what scares Japan a little bit more is the U.S. has gone full Pacific, and 3 fully loaded carriers, an air base in New Dutch Guinea. So everything's consolidated. So Japan's gonna have to be fighting multiple fronts in the Pacific and also on the land. So it's going to be tough going for Japan in the Pacific, turn 3.
Definitely going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
No denying that. And Kyle, what are your thoughts on what's been going on here? It looks like Britain's coagulating here in Africa.
Clawing back their losses from round 1, trying to. Playing for sustainable gains, like not trying to get out over my skis too much, consolidate in Egypt. Try to survive a couple boats off of in the North Sea, and if I can do that, I'm happy, because it wasn't an awesome round 1, and if it's a recovery round and we start to play a little more aggressive in round 3, that's fine by me.
There you go. And I see the Italian fleet has been destroyed.
Yeah. Word to the rookies, we want to take care of that as soon as you can. So no Italian ships on the board. I'm happy about that for round 2.
Yeah, that definitely changes the temper of things. And so the Italians last round just built 1 fighter and saved, so they've got $38 to spend next round. So they could have a fleet there, but lots of air power, lots of problems. So we'll see what happens. The Canadians have made a royal nuisance of themselves. They came up here and took Norway, and they also took Tunisia. And the Italians, of course, had to claw back, knowing that they had no ships and no way to get reinforcements down there or to evacuate these guys. So these guys here, not long for this world, they'll get wiped out next round. And the rest of these guys are just hoping to hold on and make a bit of a difference. Maybe do a little can opening here and there, but not much going on for the Italians right now. And the Soviets doing their thing, building up, still pulling guys back from the west, or the east, pardon me, heading west. And that's where we're at, round 2. We're just going to grab a bite and we'll get to round 3 in just a moment.
And everybody.
All right, so Gargantua has shown up. We didn't talk to his agent though, so
blur his face.
That's
For
right.
it.
I'm not allowed to speak on camera, otherwise you're gonna pay me, right? Isn't that how the union works?
yeah, go back, Pinko. All right, now. All right, so we had a
Pinko?
couple of unions. Anyway, so yeah, not a lot going on here in the Med. Just everything got sunk, and then the British built a couple of things. They took Iraq, and here on the Eastern Front, what happened here?
The Germans got a pounding in the north, but Italy's invested 38. Look at this. Look at this Italian armored division here. They just built 4, 5, 6. Factor in the front line. German support. Pretty ugly punch into the Caucasus.
Well, we will see. We will see if we can withstand, because the Russians have a monster army here. So, but we'll see if we can't make a Bavarian nuisance of ourselves. What else? So the Italians have had to essentially retreat out of North Africa. The British and Anzac have cleaned up Africa quite nicely. Japan, what went on in China here? Jeremy, do tell.
Well, China took back Yunnan and then reinforced by UK Pacific. And that's because most of Japan's Air Force and Navy congregated over in the Southeast Asia and took out 2 substantial US fleets. So, and they won both battles, but now US is rebuilding, but in order for that to happen, they had to sacrifice a little bit of China. So, US has rebuilt their Navy, and so the battle continues.
Yes, absolutely. A little bit of a seesaw back and forth here, but the Chinese have their UK friends churning up a lot of money. Over here, the Japanese got a little, I'll say a toehold, not a foothold in Western Australia, but they might be bailing out of there. We'll see. And yeah, a lone destroyer went and sank the American transport, so the Yanks are down there in Sydney partying hard. I don't think much else went on here. A couple of big battles in the Pacific, the Eastern Front, and Yunnan.
Start round 4.
All right, here we go, folks.
Four's up.
Round 4's coming.
Give the game some flex.
All right, round 4 is over. Heading on to round 5, and the Canadians have landed, the Americans have landed, Germany's got problems. That French fleet we didn't kill in the first round, so we could kill the British fleet, has now returned. But the Germans have tooled up pretty good here, and the Russians are meeting them head on, and there could be some sort of cataclysm here on the next round, but we'll see. That'll be fun to watch. Here in China, the Chinese kind of busted out and killed a bunch of stuff. Japanese lost 3 transports and a carrier and a cruiser in 37. But the UK Pacific lost its whole air force doing it, and Anzac lost a fighter as well, but I think that's a trade they were very happy to make. Australia has all of its own territory back, so it's feeling good about that. And yeah, America's got the fleet going on in Pearl Harbor, so could be a problem. The Japanese went into Amur, activating these guys for the Russian turn, so that's going to be interesting to see what they do. Africa, the Italians marched to their inexorable fate of running out of room, but they're having fun doing it. And they're staying mainly intact. They destroyed the French Foreign Legion there in Algeria. But beyond that, pretty much status quo. Yeah, we are, well, Joel's just putting on all the Soviet markers here just to make it official. There you go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can see India's empty, but there's no way for Japan to get there, so.
crack the beers and call it round 4.
There you
Yes.
go. Round 4 is starting round 5 starting right now. All right, here we are in the closing notes of the game. Looks like it's going to be an Allied victory. The Axis, we did what we could. Jeremy, you want to share your thoughts on the game?
No, we did our best. We were playing 2 strong players, and we learned a lot. And, Japan did its best. Holding off the entire U.S. forces in the Pacific as long as they could. They're on the brink of taking Calcutta on turn 5, which would like to be a turn earlier. Still have all control of the Money Islands, and hoping to now sweep across Russia and hopefully clear the Chinese out of. But that's been a thorn the whole game. Is the Chinese have just been surviving.
Played by the KG veteran Kyle here.
Do you want to do the final battle like Canada taking back Normandy?
Okay, yeah, live action, people.
This is Juno Beach here, man.
There
This
you
is
go.
outrageous.
The Italians are
Anzac has
defending
battles
Normandy.
first.
Oh, do you got battles?
Yeah.
We're doing this on
The 3 fighters right here.
Okay, so 3
That's it,
fighters.
we're doing it over here.
3 fighters.
Season 62. Nothing!
He missed. He missed with all the fighters. The destroyer.
No, it's a 4.
fighters-
It's a 4. It's a 4.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
Canada
Oh, wait, you are home.
Normandy.
So here's the Canadians.
Woo!
Wow, they sure hammered that guy. Oh, but
he takes one down with him.
retribution.
But it's always satisfying. This is the way to end the game. Really, this is like
Canada takes
know,
Normandy.
We're just gonna give one of those. Look at that. There's the love. All right.
That's what happens when you.
So what happened in
invite
the
Canuck to a game.
Eastern Front here?
On the Eastern Front, I just went too soon and got beat. I got beat. And Russia's got a lot of stuff left over. I'm looking okay up here. Got about, 15 units or so. Ready to cause a little bit of grief. The Italians have opened this up. I got 10 tanks sitting here. The Italians can't open them, but we've got about 20 units sitting there. You could say I got diced a little bit there, but I got outplayed absolutely. And Russia's looking pretty good.
Gracious.
So
I think you got more dice than you got actually.
You're very gracious.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Any thoughts on the game there, Joel?
No, it was fun. It was a good match overall. There were some really good fights in the Eastern Front. I went back and forth quite a bit. There was also some really good shenanigans in around French Indochina. The Japanese basically they lost their air force, but they broke the Indians' back.
Yeah.
So and basically India was bombed so heavily that they just threw all their money at the convoy, so there's nothing for Japan to take. But Japan's going to pick up Calcutta and be able to play, but I don't think it's going to be enough to change the tide because of the loss of planes. Because now the Americans already have more planes and more carriers, and it'll be a slog. But yeah, it was a really good game. A lot of fun, a lot of action. The Canada rules that Jeremy brought to the table were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So you've got all this Atlantic action because the Germans are, instead of an NO, they basically get a free sub-return, and Canada's its own nation, so you're forced to build something every turn. So you get some back and forth action, either destroyers or corvettes that they're using, and you get this kind of battle for Normandy going on. Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a sideshow, but that's okay. It's engaging and it's fun. So it was a good match overall, and we had fun.
Nice, good time. Kyle, any closing thoughts for the viewers?
Gotta every game's different. Get out and play it. They're all gonna shake out a bit different. So
Yeah, Kyle took on the lion's share. This was standard setup with no bid, so he didn't have any help. But he's got more experience, so that always helps.
it's interesting to play a different rule set, see how everything turns out.
Yeah.
But dice were thrown, souls were lost.
Plastic is melted.
We were all cheering for Canada, so that was the fun part.
Yeah. I had a great time. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. That was great. Thanks, Jeremy, for hosting, and thanks everybody for watching. And as I always say, hug your loved ones, tell your friends they're important, and thank you for playing. And may the dice be with you.